Hey everyone, what's up? It's Marine Lord. Just got back home from the REDBULL Wololo in Spain. Got some good sleep. And I wanted to do a small debrief video both in English and in French. So obviously usually Beastie is doing the one in English. Here he was not playing, so I felt like it would be cool to do an English one too. So I just wanna talk about pretty much all those points. I did that so I don't lose myself in the debrief. So how did I feel like before the start of my preparation? I started the preparation like 1 month ago, I would say, maybe a bit more now. Like I think I started it literally at the start of last month, so a little bit more than 1 month. And how I felt after seeing the qualifier. So for the first time in my career, I think I took very long vacations before the tournament. Since I was directly invited, I felt like I had some cool time off, and I used it. So obviously when I came back from the vacation, I was playing extremely bad, but I still had like pretty much 1 month and a half to get back to being good. And obviously they were all already very good, right, because they were playing in the qualifier. But I was expecting them to be more scary in the qualifier, to be honest. I think the level of play was not so great. People Wham and Beastie were ahead of everyone else, I felt. Everyone else was not really as good, especially Vortex and Lucifron. Usually they are at the top 2, but in this tournament I felt like they were not playing as good. Lou was pretty disappointing too, I think. He played very well in the first tournament of the year, but this one was not good for him. So overall, what I was saying when I was casting those games in French, especially after the final, I really felt like they were not playing well. And I remember like hearing people in the interview after qualifying saying he was like very confident to play me, and he was very happy about his play. Was a bit of a red flag kind of, because it was like, I think honestly they all played terribly in this qualifier. I think if you ask me if Beastie played better here than in the last 2 tournaments, I think Beastie played way better in the last 2 tournaments. Maybe it doesn't feel the same, and I would say the same for Puppy. I think the first tournament of the year, Elite Classic, it was extremely dangerous. I think it was very almost like a 50-50 with me in this tournament. In this one, I felt like he didn't play well. He still qualified. He made it to the final. Obviously, it's not really a final, but it was the final technically. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Like, honestly, didn't feel like they were playing well. And since I was not active, obviously it was maybe me being wrong, because I couldn't play them. But my honest feeling was that I think they were doing a lot of mistakes, and a lot of their drafts were pretty bad, I think. But since I was not playing a lot, I was like, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm just gonna realize later on that Pepe got way better and he's maybe gonna beat me in the final, who knows. So information about Pepe. I discussed that with Pepe and Wham at the castle, and I feel like they were believing I had way more information than what I really had. Because obviously it's so many games, right? I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of information. But obviously there is a 2 months break. There is a pretty big patch in between. And obviously the meta keeps evolving all the time. We wouldn't see Abbasid as much 2 months ago, even we saw it here, right? But it was very different. It was not buffed. Rus the same. Rus, it was pretty much always played on Water because it was broken there, and overall Rus was just totally OP back there, and now it's patched. So what I really got from this qualifier was like trying to guess what the maps people would pick. So I noted that he liked Golden Knight, he liked Frisian March, and he liked Kawasan. So I was like, most likely he's gonna pick one of those, but really not sure, so I'm not really gonna take that into consideration. I just practiced everything. And looking at Thieves, the only Thieves that really made me think about it was pretty much Zushi and Kawasan, that they both really liked. But I felt like it was pretty bad in the end. And most importantly, I will talk about that later during my preparation. I realized that Zushi was more valuable, in my opinion, than Japanese on Holy Island. So I started valuing Zushi higher and picking them earlier. So I prepared for this situation on Kawasan, but in the end I was almost always getting Zushi in my drafts. So it was pretty useless. And I think one thing that I really noted, not really from here, because he played it only once, I think, French, but the last months in the tournament from Beastie, like the Arabia one, and overall the way Pepe was playing, I felt like he was really liking French. Obviously, it got buffed since this tournament. But yeah, that was the only thing. I was like, maybe he's gonna pick French on open maps, even in the best of 5. It will not be surprising. And so I prepared a little bit the French matchup, and I didn't feel like it was really a threat. I think French is good, but it's not good enough to really beat the best Civ. So I really felt like if he would pick French, I would just get a close game because he's good with it, but I really felt confident about that. So that's the point 2 I wanted to talk about. That was fucking weird, I think. I really preferred what they did with Age of Mythology. They played the qualifier 2 weeks before the tournament. So it really felt like it was the final of the tournament, right? And obviously I was invited, so it's not the same at all. But here, even if I'm not invited, let's say I qualify, in the end you still play like the tournament, the actual final of the tournament, 2 months after the qualifiers. So what I mean by that is that it's obviously a different game, it's evolving very fast, and it's super hard to find practice for this kind of stuff because nobody wants to practice, right? Everyone is in vacations, and you are like trying to get good practice. So I know people only practiced with WAM, which is terrible to practice with only one person, even if WAM is very, very good. And I only practiced with Anoutan pretty much. I tried asking some practice to Lou, Kijardi and Baltune a little bit, but it was not really many games at all. And I only played with Anoutan pretty much, which is, as I said, terrible prep. If you only practice with one guy, you don't really open yourself to many strategies. You open yourself to only one kind of drafts, let's say. So I will talk later about that in my prep here, but it was very weird, I think, to have it 2 months before, and then like you don't do much for the next 2 months, and it's very hard to find practice, and it doesn't really feel like it's the same tournament, right? Okay, my first 2 weeks of prep. So at this point, it was just after the Arabia tournament from BC. So obviously I didn't care about this tournament. I lost to WAM and I lost to Puppy. But actually it gave me confidence because it was just after I came back from vacation, and I still got some very close match against both Puppy and WAM. It was 3-2 and 3-2, and I played so fucking bad. So like, when I was like, if I play that bad and it's close, what's gonna happen after the end of my preparation? And usually like it's always the same. At the start of my preparation, I'm terrible, or like, I lose a lot. So let's say at the start of my preparation, usually I get maybe 65 to 70% win rate in practice. Towards the end, usually I get around like 85, 90% of win. Depends of which tournament. I think, for example, in Elite Classic at the start of the year, I will get maybe, I mean, I don't have a clear number, but maybe like 80 to 85% win rate. And for Master of Realm, I think I got 90 to 95% win rate in practice towards the end of my preparation. So obviously I want to evolve and get better during those weeks. So overall feeling about the first 2 weeks. I mean, I was preparing for pretty much all the maps, but what I remember at the start is that I was valuing Malians a lot because of Socotra, which ended up being a mistake in my opinion, and I stopped doing that in the end. And I didn't even get it into tournament against people because I didn't value them as much. I was really scared of English on Socotra. And overall, one Civ that I was really scared of was Delhi. Delhi got buffed. Delhi is extremely strong. And I think it beats pretty much almost all the Civ in the game. I think only Archery and Byzantine have some clear advantage over Delhi, but they are almost always banned. So Delhi really felt like one of the strong picks for this tournament. And I was pretty scared of that. Because Delhi is a very weird one, and sometimes you have some weird matchup with like Jeanne d'Arc. I don't think it's as bad as before. I think it's close between Delhi and Jeanne d'Arc now. But Chinese is the big one, obviously. Chinese is always a very strong Civ against Delhi. So it was pretty scary. Like if you pick Delhi first and you ended up fighting China and you just lose your first pick like that, it could be pretty much scary. And the first week of preparation, what was big, it was Abbasid. Abbasid after the patch, Anoutan was loving them. And the first 2 weeks I was pretty much losing all my games against Abbasid. And that was a weird one too, because I was pretty much always winning my practice against Anoutan. Not always, but I remember it was like, I think I won 5 best of 5, and I lost 2 in the first week. And then second week it was like 7-0 I think, or maybe 6-0, maybe we didn't play one day. But let's say it was like that. But in all of those best of 5, even if I won all of them here, I remember I lost almost or all of the games, I don't remember, against Abbasid. So it was always like 4-1 or 3-2. And it was pretty much always very close, which is pretty scary. But then, last week of preps, I started evolving a little bit, getting a better draft. I was also getting a lot of practice against Abbasid, so in the end, I was actually getting very good against them. And here I remember, like, the third week of prep, it was getting better for me. It was not as close as before. And then the last week, I don't know how much we played, but maybe like we played like 12 to 14 best of 5. And I won all of them. So yeah, let's say on this week I got maybe like 25-0, 21-0. And it was more one-sided. So I was getting a lot of 5-0s, a lot of 4-1s, some 3-2s, but not a single real loss. And even the 3-2s, it was like most of the time me losing even good matchups, but just not playing as good because sometimes you just suck, right? It is what it is. So here I started getting very confident. I was very confident about my prep. I had some good last picks. I had some good first picks. So like for example on Kawasan, I really loved picking Ayubids or Mongols there very late in the Civ draft. So I had secured a lot of different picks and a lot of different ideas that I could pick early, I could pick in the middle of the draft, and I could pick late. So I really felt like no matter what, I could get there and not have a single matchup loss. So I could get a five good games, and that's obviously very cool because in some tournaments sometimes you just literally always lose one game. Like you're fighting Byzantine, you lose. You're playing HRE, you win, and then it's pretty much a best of 3 instead of a best of 5, right? But here I didn't feel like it was the case. I felt like it will be a solid best of 5 if I draft properly. And obviously I knew Anotan got some good preparation with me. I was paying him to win those games. So like whenever he was beating me, I was paying him money. And here, since he didn't get any wins, I was like feeling a bit bad, so I gave him some money anyway just for the help. But I was feeling like my preparation was very good. I was seeing people not practice as much, and I think with what we got, only one partner each, I felt like my preparation would be way better. But at the same time, I can't be sure of that, so I was just trying to not be too confident and give my best in practice and come to Spain with like the best possible preparation and just beat him, even if he's very good or not, who knows. So yeah, basically when I went there, I was like, it's a best of 5, I can lose to people, I know he's very good. A few mistakes here and there and I'm gonna die. But overall, I felt like it was maybe like 80 to 20. I really felt like I was very favored. I didn't feel as good as before, right? Because as I said, like the first 2 tournaments of the year, I won them. But I was preparing very well with a lot of different opponents. Obviously, like during the tournament, you can learn and improve. So like at the start of Master of Realm, I was bad. And at the end, I was very good. Same for Beastie, same for everyone. During the tournament, you improve your draft, you improve yourself. But here, it was only one best of 5. So you just are coming with your preparation, and that's it. So I feel pretty good about that because my preparation was good, I think, from what I could do. How was the event? So I think it was not as properly organized as last time, but pretty close, right? It was still very well organized. Hotel was good. I mean, I got a cockroach in my hotel room at some point. I was like, what the fuck is this? A big one. And it was so fucking quick and everything, so it was pretty funny, but I mean, not funny when it's at 4 AM. But hotel was good, shuttle were good, everything was good. What I noted is that obviously it's in Spain, so it was very dry and it was very hot all day long. So I felt like when I was going there early, I was getting exhausted pretty quickly. So I wanted to make sure I come pretty late at the castle on the tournament day to not feel any to feel good. So my sleep schedule, I tried to organize myself pretty well to make sure, because we knew beforehand it would be pretty much at like 10, 11 p.m. So I made sure to wake up at most every day at like 2, 3 p.m. at home. And when I got there, obviously you have to travel, you have the media day, so you cannot keep a good sleep schedule like that. I mean, it's a bad sleep schedule in theory, but keep the same at least. But still on the tournament day, I could get up at like 1, I think I got up at 1:30 p.m., which is fine. And I want to talk about myself there, but I can talk from Puppy's point of view. It's something that gave me even more confidence. I think he organized his travel very poorly. He didn't get a lot of sleep. So obviously there is jet lag, right? And I'm not saying, like, I have an advantage, right? I am coming from France, it's close. Even though, like, I think the travel was very long because it was not... Like, for example, I got 4 hours of layover between my train and my flight, and I was like, what the fuck? both when I went there and both when I left. So it was a bit weird. But obviously I have no jet lags. He has 6 hours of jet lag. But I felt like he didn't really try to prepare for that, right? He came in at a weird schedule. I think he just like didn't sleep for one night and came in Spain. He came in the same day as me, so pretty late. I think he could have asked for like 2 more days to come like before 2 more days, so he could actually get some good sleep going. I'm gonna do that at the same time, so you can see. So yeah, I feel like he was poorly organized, and then I remember like the media day, went there at like 10 a.m. I went there at like 1 p.m. And the tournament day, I went there like at 7 or 8 p.m. I don't remember, 7 p.m. I think. And he went there at like 1 p.m. So he's gonna spend the whole day in the castle. It's loud, it's pretty hot. It's not good to get ready for a match, right? So I went there at 7 p.m. And then I just practiced a few games with Anotan quickly. And then we got ready for the draft. I was very ready for that, so not much to add. I think what I can say too, the castle was pretty small compared to Heidelberg, but I think it was more expensive because they didn't only book one part of the castle. Last time in Heidelberg, you could have still a lot of visitors, but we were blocking like 2 areas of the castle, pretty much like the scene place and a small backstage place where you have production and players. Here in this tournament, it was totally closed to the public, so nobody could visit the castle. It was only for the Age of Empires tournament. And it was a smaller castle in a very weird place, right? It's very high up, it's beautiful, it's amazing. I think desks were very small in the player room. So in the practice area, it was a lot of complaints about that. It was a very small desk. The monitor was so big and it was taking most of the space, which was pretty bad, I think. But it's only the practice place, so obviously I'm not gonna care too much about that. I just want the setup of the games to be good, right? So like the main stage. And chairs, I remember because it was a complaint for almost everyone. I think the chairs, even though it was a sponsor to the event, so sorry, the chairs were pretty bad. So like most of the chairs, usually you can just block them wherever you want, so you can sit however you like. But here you could only block it like really pushed forward, sorry. So like you could see me when I play, it was fully pushed forward. Or you could just have it always balanced like that, so you can't really block it. So it was very weird, but it's fine. So like pretty much like that, like the people on screen right now. Either like really push forward, or it's gonna move all the time. Whatever. So the main stage, it was pretty cool. Obviously it's outside, so you have a lot of flies everywhere. You have some wind. And the monitor was very weird. It was fine, I think, but it was just a very weird monitor. You could move it from all the angles. It was very special. Other than that, it was totally fine, I think. Obviously, it was nice seeing everyone, right? I know a lot of people from all the games. We all know Rikon and Mista from Age of Mythology. I know personally most of the AoE2 players, so it was nice to see them and discuss with them. And Age of 4, it was me, Wham, Pepipo, Killer Pigeon, and a lot of people from all different games, right? Like devs, a lot of different people. It was nice seeing them. So now we're gonna talk quickly about the drafts, because that was a weird one, obviously. So okay, my plan for the drafts, I wanted to pick Holy Island and Kawasan. So obviously didn't know that, but he still banned Kawasan, so it's kind of not like luck, but that can happen, right? It's just like we have no really any clue about what the opponent gonna pick. But obviously I planned different stuff. The only map I really didn't want to play was Golden Knights, because it's a totally stupid map, it's terrible. Any other maps were fine. So in my plan at first, it was like if I don't have Kawasan that he banned, I wanted to pick like Socotra or Frisian March, but in the end he picked them both. So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna pick a normal land map. It's totally fine to me. Okay, we can move a bit forward because maps we don't care. That was funny though, like the little marble race. That's cute. So yeah, my priority was, okay, I'm gonna ban English if Socotra is in, because I think English is auto win on this map, and I don't want any free wins or free loss. It's so fucking bad, I think. So I was like, okay, if Socotra is in, I ban English, and if Socotra is not in, I'm gonna ban Delhi, because Delhi is a little bit strong and very dumb, I think. And also I didn't want to ban one of the top 2 civs, so Byzantine and Aishari, because I felt like he could fuck up the draft, and I think he did fuck up the draft. But if he banned HRE, pretty much I always get Abbasid, obviously. Byzantine, my bad. And if he doesn't, I can pick HRE, which is good. So that was my plan. Basic plan, obviously. I banned English, he banned Byzantine, and now I was a bit confused because I honestly think that it's a big mistake here, but he doesn't know, obviously. If he doesn't ban Byzantine, right, I think I pick HRE and he picks Byzantine, which is very good. And then he can get Byzantine China, for example, which is obviously a decent start to the draft. It doesn't mean he would win with Byzantine, because most of the time this sieve will clash with HRE, because it's pretty much like 2 land maps, right? So it's pretty much 1 chance out of 2 that you actually have HRE against Byzantine. It's Gorge and Region. He goes China first pick, which was expected. China is extremely strong right now. I think it's one of the, if not the best sieve on Frisian March, because of the big amount of ship, and also the fishing economy there is insane for China. So clearly one of the best sieve there. And here I was very surprised. He picked Ayubids. So here I was honestly a bit in shock. From my preparation, Ayubids were pretty bad. It's really decent on a few maps. Decent on Socotra, decent on Kawasan. Holy Island, obviously, there is a few cheese, but I didn't expect that at all. And I was expecting Ayubids more likely like to be on Gorge or Region, so like a land map. And I was like, maybe it's gonna be Socotra. But the problem with Socotra is that, in my opinion, and I think I'm better than them right now, so we discussed that after the draft, but I think I'm right and they are wrong. I think Ayubids is terrible against Malians on Socotra. I think it's a free loss pretty much. And from what he told me, he wanted Ayubids on Socotra. He just changed his plan at the last moment, which is terrible. And overall, we will talk about it, but I think his draft was pretty bad. So yeah, I'm very not sure what to pick. I picked Zushi because I think it's the best sieve on Holy Island, and it's what I prepare the most. Also, I know he likes Zushi, so I'm just like, it's one of my favorite sieves, and it's one of his good sieves. It's amazing to pick it here, it's fine, so I will pick it here. And now it's a very close call between Delhi and Abbasid, because I think Abbasid is very good, but I'm very scared of having Delhi against Abbasid in the draft if I don't pick Delhi, because I think it's pretty much a free win. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick Delhi, which is gonna be fine against most of his picks, because I think Delhi is totally OP right now. So I was only scared of China, and I wouldn't be scared of anything else pretty much, because I'm scared of China, I'm scared of Byzantine and HRE when I play Delhi, and they are all out already. Byzantine is banned, I picked HRE, and he got China. So it's only one potentially bad matchups, and I can move Delhi like it's very flex. It's a flex pick. You can play it in Gorge, you can play it on Socotra, you can play it on Region. So it's 3 maps. It's still decent. Here he goes Malian Japanese. I think that's more normal. That's what I was kind of expecting. It's a normal round of draft, I think. But maybe Abbasid would have been a nice pick here. As I was expecting Ayubids on land maps, I understood why he would not pick Abbasid. But the problem now is that Abbasid is good against all of those sieves. Pretty much. Abbasid into China is good usually. So maybe not on Frisian March. I think it's pretty hard on this map. But on every other maps, Abbasid, China is fine. It's very good for Abbasid. Against Ayubid is good. Against Malian is very good. Or not very good, it's just good, I think. And against whatever is left, so French, Mongols, whatever, I think it's fine. So Abbasid was very good as a first pick. And now I got Rus. Rus is weird because it's not as good as before, but it's still very strong. And my plan was Rus on Socotra. I think it's extremely strong. I think it's totally underestimated. And it's the last pick, right? So if I lose with it, it's not the end of the world, but I was fairly confident I will win. Especially if he picked Malians. And I know he wanted to pick Malian on Socotra at this point. I mean, after. Because at this point, I think it's between Ayubids and Mali. But after talking about him, it was clearly the plan to go Ayubids first on this map. So Ayubids against Rus, I actually didn't have any clue. But I think it's fine, it's just a close matchup. And Malians against Rus, I'm super confident for Rus. That's why I was not valuing Malians actually. Because from the preparation, we had a few sieves that were actually doing pretty good against Malians that were used as a last pick. Not especially Rus actually. And I get Mongols. Just because I'm a big Mongol player, I like them. And I think most people really know I really love playing Mongols on Frisian March. And maybe it could fuck up a bit with his plans. I was not sure, but I felt like maybe we'll go Jeanne d'Arc, right? To snipe Mongols. And then if I get Abbasid against Jeanne d'Arc, it's an extremely good matchup. So that was the plan, to just fuck up a bit with his brain, but I didn't really plan to use them. It was very unlikely to use them. So it was just a useless last pick to fuck up with him a bit. When it comes to the game, I'm not gonna talk too long about that, but what to say, like first game I just wanted to get any matchups except China. Obviously one thing I wanted to talk about too was weird, because when we got on stage at the moment, okay, let me go back, but the first moment you see us go on stage after the draft, it's actually the first time ever we go on the stage. So before that we couldn't even set up ourselves. That's why it's so much break time between now and when we actually start playing, because that's not even like, you can see I'm starting to prepare my desk. Everything needs to be moved. I need my keyboard in the right place, my monitors properly, adjust my chair, get a bit comfortable, do like one quick game against the computer to just check for 5 minutes if it's all good. And obviously like the lightning is gonna be a bit weird. You have some white noise in your headset, so you have to adjust that properly. So yeah, it was a pretty weird thing to do. I was expecting us to be set up before, and then we do the draft and we are going there and we can just play. Whatever. So Delhi against French first game. I think we both got some very good spawn. I think his spawn was slightly better because he got the deer behind, right? But as Delhi, since I can go pro scout, it's not bad. It's totally fine. Just like for him, obviously, having the deer behind the base is amazing as French. What can I say? I'm close on the berry side, which is lucky in my opinion. I think Delhi is better. I mean, I think French want to be close to the deer side and Delhi wants to be close to the berry side. But if he could swap around, he would, I think, because he really wants to deny my berries, right? So that's the main point. Other than that, I think it's a close matchup. I prefer Delhi clearly. I think Delhi is a bit better than French. I think it's pretty easy to play too once you get going. So I think I did a few mistakes this game, but for his first game on stage, you have to remember, like, it's literally the first game of the tournament for us. We didn't play on stage before. It's a bit crazy, right? I was very happy about my performance on this game one, because I felt like I fucked up my macro once at some point, which was not at a bad timing. It was at a fine timing to fuck up the macro, kind of. I was not happy too much about my technical play, but it was pretty hard to scout his base because he had walls everywhere very fast. But when I started going for archers, it was a mistake. I should have stayed on horsemen and spears, but I wasn't sure, right? I couldn't see his base fully, so I was like, maybe he's gonna add some spears and I'm gonna need some archers, or otherwise I'm gonna have some issues. So I started going archers, but it was a bit too early, and that allowed him to get back a bit in the game at some points. But never it was really close, I think. Like, people told me he was coming back into the game at some point, but I totally disagree, like, because he got a big army at some point, but economy I'm always fine. And obviously I have a lot of prelates to heal. We both all got all the decks up, but I always had the berry patch pretty safe here, right? With a lot of towers. So even if he kind of come back into the game, I have a lot of free economy on the right. I have a sacred side that works all the time. And I'm all good, right? It's what you want with Delhi. I don't really need to go into Castle Age. He's split pretty much everywhere, so I can just try to harass a lot and find some good damage. And I think it was not really close at any point. I think from the first fight of the game it was pretty much over. And it was just like a slow snowball from me. Maybe not the best ever snowball from me, but it was clean enough to be fine, I think. Okay, game 2 was weird. Because game 2 he told me, I mean, admin told me it's Ayubids against Zushi when we decided to do the picks. So here I was very confused because, and I lost a bit of focus, which was bad, but nothing terrible. Because when I look at his draft, I don't understand it at all. He used French. So I was like, okay, he's either gonna go Jeanne d'Arc on Frisian March, and then he's gonna go China on Gauche, or he's gonna go China on Frisian March, and then I'm gonna have H-Cherry on Gauche against Japanese or Jeanne d'Arc. Which is like crazy, right? Because it's a free loss pretty much. So I was trying to understand his plan, and I couldn't really figure it out. And it was maybe because his plan was bad. So I was a bit confused at this point, but really got into the game quickly. One thing I have to say, this Ayubit cheese, I knew about it. I've played against it in the past. But the problem is that I never played it with Zushi. So before in the past we used to play more Japanese and China on this map. I think China and Japanese you have a free win against Ayubid on this map. But with Zushi it's a bit different. Because obviously you have one less villager and you have an IO at the start. So I was not sure if I tried to go dock and try to defend what he was about to do, or if I would go for actually fast age up without a dock and then we just start fishing at the second age, which is in my opinion a good call. But I didn't go for that this game. So yeah, I'm trying to scout, I'm trying to see if he goes culturing or if he goes industry, which are the two obvious options in my opinion. Anything else he's gonna lose. And my plan, which I totally failed, was to pull a few villagers at the timing he comes with his villagers to dock me, to actually attack the villagers, right? But I did it too late because I'm totally bad and I totally fucked up my plan, which is a play that I never did before, right? So I fucked up, my macro was pretty bad. On top of that, this villager had to go back on my TC at some point because of the scouts. So I think at this point, if I do what I do, and I scouted already that it's not gonna be a culture wing because it's too late already, I should just go back home and kill the scout with my scouts so my villagers can be efficient and I can get a fast stage up. So I know people talked about him throwing this game, but I think we can talk about me throwing the game too, right? Because my macro at the start is terrible. And so like you're gonna see, he's gonna pull two villagers, I'm gonna pull two villagers too, but way too late. And he's gonna be able to, so it's not right now, he's gonna be able to dock, and my villagers are too late, so I just send them on my dock, which is terrible. Because it's two more villager idle, right? Plus the one that went back home already. So it's pretty much 3 villagers idle. On top of that, I have terrible fishing economy. Like my fish is very far off, right? Which can happen, right? It's fine. I'm just saying in this case it happened, which didn't make it easy for me. And obviously I have 3 villagers pretty much idle, kind of. So you are gonna age up way later. And if I just didn't do anything, and I just aged up normally with my economy being proper, I think I age up like maybe 20 seconds earlier, and then it's just a fine defense for me. It's gonna be way easier, obviously. But I didn't do that, so I fucked up, and now I'm behind, I think. That being said, I think... okay, this one is decent, I think. I get 2 berries patch for my meditation garden, which is fine, but on this map usually you get more, right? You get more golds, you get more of anything. You can see here, for example, on the minimap, if I have this spot here from him, you get 1 stone, you get 1 berry patch and 3 gold, which is totally insane. But my spawn was very good too, because I want some food at this point, and it's totally fine to have that. But obviously his spawn was a bit better for that. Can happen. And it's useless to him, right? Because he is not Zushi. So at this point I know I'm gonna go for Hulk. I'm just trying to... I know he's gonna have a Demolition, a Hulk, and a Galley. So at this point, I'm not even sure what the interaction should be. I think he should aim for 2 Demolition boats maybe. Because no matter what, if I play well... People were saying he played terrible here, and I agree for like the Archer ship. He should never lose it here, and then it's gonna be harder. But the Demolition ship, it didn't fail, right? Like it's gonna connect, I'm gonna repair, and my stuff is gonna survive because of my fishing ship. Which is totally normal. That's part of the game. It's just now like the Archer ship is going back too late. And now it's already GG. Like legit. Because my demo is coming, so I'm gonna try it positively. And now I lost my fishing economy, but I am Zushi, so I'm just I have a way better save than him. He used already all his wood from the industry wing, so it's like he never edged up pretty much. He doesn't have any real bonus. And I'm ahead on everything pretty much, right? Better sieve. My setup is slightly better. Or maybe the setup is pretty close, but I prefer my position any day right now, right? So it's just gonna be an easy snowball by playing very well. Both on land and on water. And this map, Abbasid China. So here it was... I was expecting this matchup normally. I was saying maybe Jandark, but Jandark is pretty bad, I think. So I was not sure what to do because I wasn't sure if he would want to play macro or not. But I was expecting him to play more macro than what he did, and for me to just stomp him because of Abbasid. But in the end, he went actually for an all-in, which was surprising to me just because it's like the last game potentially for him. So I didn't feel like he would go for an all-in, but I still scouted for it, right? You're gonna see. So with my scout, I just scouted the wall maps, right? And at the timing around like 3:30, which is the timing he's gonna age up, I go to his base and I look for a Barbican Rush, because I think Barbican Rush is gonna be very strong against my spawn. I have 3 forward gold, which is normal, right? But like if you look at this pawn, sometimes you get a good second gold. Sometimes your first gold is even behind, you never know. But most of the time gold is forward on this map. Just saying, like, if my secondary gold was as good as this, for example, then I wouldn't be worried about a Barbican rush. But since I have a bad spawn, not really bad, but you understand me, I have packed gold, I'm scared of a Barbican rush. So I'm just making sure I'm scouting for this. And once I scout for the Barbican at his place, at his home, that is coming soon, I'm gonna scout the stone to see if it's a 2DC or if it's an all-in. So it could be also fast castle after it's not a... If I see there is no stone, but fast castle is bad, I think, so I was expecting him to go all-in. And yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like maybe I should have played all my TCs. It's like my second and my third TCs on my gold. So I can actually use them to totally destroy Zugenu when we will push. And at the same time, I was not even sure if I wanted to go 3DC or 2DC. Because obviously it's a very different map, right? And Shiny's economy on this map is totally broken. So I was like, maybe if I go 2DC and I'm gonna be fine, maybe I'm still gonna be behind because Shiny's economy is so broken on this map. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go 3 DCs because then if he really tries to kill me and I hold, I'm gonna win. If I'm going 2 DC and I hold, I might be in like a bad position sometimes. If he goes castle and get all the relics, for example, or like pressure me at the right timing, it's gonna be hard. Same for my gold, it's gonna be hard to defend it no matter what. So I was like, okay, let's go for 3 DC and then let's just play well. So what happened pretty much was just he did a few mistakes and I didn't do many mistakes. Macroed pretty well. I went for a lot on gold after my 3rd TC because I knew he would come for my gold, obviously. So I was not necessarily expecting a tower on my gold, but just some big pressure. So here I get all the gold in the world. I want +1/+1, so range and defense against range. And I want wheelbarrow if possible. And ideally, if I can even get more, I want textile too, because it's gonna be useful, but you cannot get everything, right? It's a lot of gold, and I am pretty poor because I'm spending a lot on villagers and on my 3 TCs. So here I get enough gold to get +1/+1 and wheelbarrow, which is already amazing. Just wanted textile, but couldn't get it. So here the plan is obviously just to go horseman, just to go archers. Also his towers is pretty poorly placed, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a ram to kill the tower. Because if the tower stay there, it's gonna be harder to fight under it, right? It's still a narrow slit, so it's gonna do a lot of damage. Might as well do a ram and kill it. That's what I did. Try to pick up reinforcements, typical cavalry play. And it was very close, right? It was very, very close. If the first push came with no +1 attack, which was surprising to me. I didn't even realize, to be fair, like, honestly, I really felt like he had it. Obviously, in my opinion, you need the 2 others before the +1 attack, right? I think you need +1 armor, otherwise you're gonna die to the TC. And you need the ram 1 because you need to push pretty fast. So I understand it's the last one he gets. But I mean, we can check the replay maybe. I mean, we don't know what he's getting right now, but he has more than enough gold. So I'm sure, okay, he's getting it now, but he could have gotten it maybe like 30 seconds before. And maybe he can just boost it right now. Like. If he boosts it, it's way harder. I don't think it's auto loss if he gets +1. But maybe it is, I'm not sure, like, I'm not sure. He will do way more damage, right? But the thing is that with Zugenu, you overkill a lot. So sometimes the +1 is amazing. Like, for example, in this case, when I come with the flank, it would have been amazing. You would have killed so fast all my units. So in the end, maybe the ram will have more HP, for example. Like, we never know, right? It's gonna be but it was a mistake from his part. And once I hold the first push, I know it's fine for me. Like, it's gonna be China. So as I said, his economy is totally broken. He's still gonna get more economy than me with 30 more villagers from me. But yeah, wave after wave, it's gonna be pretty close. But I was feeling pretty fine. I was not even pulling a lot of villagers, as you can see. Like, it's like 10 villagers inactive. It could be more. I could have 8 in my TCs and like more repairing, more killing the rams. But since I was feeling okay about this push and this hold, I was just trying to take the minimum necessary so I could get a lot of stuff behind. And it, yeah, pretty close hold, but I was always pretty confident my TC would survive. I've played this situation many times. Not even in this patch, but just in the past, right? I know it's pretty much GG, right? He's gonna... I knew he was gonna try to age up at some good timing, which is a little bit scary, but nothing crazy. And on top of that, he did another mistake here. Like, he's gonna fight just at the moment he's going to age up, which is fucking weird. Right now, like... Okay, now he's gonna go back, right? Which is a good call, because he's aging up. So this fight is bad, but it's not like terrible. But the moment where it comes back into me right now, it's terrible, right? Because it doesn't have any upgrades. So when I see Castle Age and I saw those units, I'm gonna, okay, let's jump on it as fast as possible. I want the fight right now. And he should not give me this fight, obviously. But then obviously I'm still like, it's over no matter what. If I play well, it's over at this point. But I'm just saying it's another mistake. So I think he played pretty bad. I think his preparation was pretty bad. And I don't know, like maybe he has some block, obviously it's like his second offline event. As I said, I don't think he prepared well, both physically and in-game. I don't know, like I didn't feel like he was playing his best. But at the same time, it was the same for me. I don't think I was playing my best. It's just a very hard setup for us. We play one best of 5 on stage. The preparation is very limited, obviously. So I'm not mad at him that he played bad, right? It's just like it can happen and it is what it is. But for sure, I think his preparation was pretty bad. And I don't feel like he was doing very good either in the qualifiers. I think it was just a tournament where the level was not the best. And hopefully it will be better in the next one. So yeah, that's it, pretty much. I think I did talk about everything. It's maybe a bit long, but it should be fine. Hopefully you like it. Obviously, I'm gonna keep my channel in French. It was just one video because I knew Beastie was not at the tournament. So usually he's the one doing this kind of stuff, but here I wanted to do it. Don't hesitate to comment and to like, and bye bye.